Only 40% of you are subscribed. Fix that. I want to say thank you to my Patreon subscribers and my Twitch subscribers. If you want to help out the channel, you can actually help out for as little as $1 a month. Enjoy the video and have some fun. You ever just saw two people and you have they you see them and you have to ask them, hey, what's that thing between a dick and an asshole? And they say, the pelvic floor muscle. And you have to just tell them, no, the table. Because we are about to see a dick and an asshole. And pardon me, Twitch, I hope this isn't TOS. Pardon me, YouTube, I hope this isn't TOS. But, yeah. Let's hear Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson's thoughts on transgenderism. I know, look. If I have to deal with this bullshit, if I have to, put myself through this mental anguish to rip their fucking arguments apart, you guys are going to sit back and watch and enjoy it. Let's see what Jordan Peterson's talk. Oh, God. I feel sick. I feel sick already.
It's funny because I think that, the issue that you started to become really politically prominent on, which is the Bill C-16 and...
You know what's funny? Ben Shapiro, when he doesn't have a fucking script in front of him, talks slow and he says, oh, we know Jordan Peterson, he just can't talk, because of all the drugs. Because he's a junkie and he made fun of people being junkie in all of his book. But we know Jordan Peterson is just because of all the drugs. But Ben is just because he's a fucking lame. It's not like he's a certified freak, 7 days a week. Wet ass P word, make that pull out gay week. Fuck.
Ontario and
Canada, it was federal law.
In Canada, the gender issue.
Yeah.
That's the issue where now the question that's constantly being asked, so why do you even care? Why do you even pay attention? And the answer is because...
Oh, it's a yarmulke. And most of the time you see Ben Shapiro, he actually has a yarmulke on. His hair is cut short for this one. But most of the time, if you actually look at every video that he does, it's a performative thing for him. Yeah.
I was asked that earlier today.
Oh, really? What did you say?
I'm not letting the cat have my tongue.
Yeah.
It's like it has nothing to do with gender as far as I'm concerned, or that's peripheral in some sense. So the accusation, why do you care?
Now, this is about 8 months ago. Where, let's be very fucking honest. Jordan Peterson was still recovering from his little trip to Russia.
Fair enough. It's like, in some way, people can go to hell in a handbasket if they're inclined to. Mm-hmm. Now, I would rather have that not happen, but people are, what would you say, doomed to their own autonomy. But I'm not saying words that other people want me to say.
No, Jordan, you say word salad. Motherfucker, nobody... Look. Can we get a count of how many people went to jail for Bill C-16 out of Canada? Can we get a count? And I know conservatives will actually point to, well, there was this man who got sent to jail because he called his son a daughter. He called his daughter a son. No, he went to jail because he was breaking a court order to stop talking about the shit on TV. And he says, look, judge, I'm talking about this shit. And the judge says, shut up, and take your ass to jail. That's why. But nobody has been arrested for Bill C-16. You dumb fuck. The only thing that is done is made Joe Kermit the Frog sounding ass some kind of popular, even though most of the shit you espouse goes against what you were taught in psychology. But then again, going against shit that makes sense in the mental health field would be great for somebody who's probably a Freudian.
The idea of compelled speech, it's like the bill was this much about gender.
Right.
And it was this much about,
right.
Oh yeah, the government's going to tell me what to say. Hey, but now they're regulating what therapists can say, therapy sessions.
This is interesting because to me...
regulated what therapists can say in therapy session. If you are a therapist, dog, if you are a psychologist or a psychiatrist, and you didn't follow the regulation, you was a shitty psychiatrist.
The problem with a lot of this is less a free speech issue, even though I'm on the same page with you. And to me, it really isn't a fundamental truth.
You went to hell in a handbasket and in a botched coma and somehow came back. I don't think he ever came back. I don't.
Meaning that, yeah, you're trying to force me to say something I don't want to say. But to me, the fact that what you're trying to force me to say is so innately opposed to the good is the problem. Like
what's the good, Ben? I mean, you are somebody who studied the Torah, Ben. If you believe that the Torah says one thing, tell me the prohibition. Is it a prohibition against men sleeping with men, or is it against pedagastry? About sleeping with men and paying money to prostitutes so it can go to foreign gods, or abusing children who live in a temple. Please tell me. And first of all, as our good buddy Dr. Josh Bowen actually said, it's like, no, it was just telling you you can't fuck this particular person that you're related to. That's what those laws were. But I'm sure Ben, who is so secure in his Judaism and so secure in his heritage, has actually studied the old Hebrewistic, is that the word? The old text, and actually gotten the context out of it. But let's see what Joe says. This bill CC an amendment to the Canadian Human Rights Act became law in 2017. Several online medias have spread the idea that Canadians can be jailed or fined simply for using the incorrect gender pronouns. While the aim of the law is to add gender identity and gender expression to the list of illegally grounds for discrimination, Bill C-16 cannot force anyone to use specific pronouns. No Canadian has been jailed or fined using the wrong gender. Yeah, like the Mosaic Law. Thank you, Tupin. But yeah, like here's the thing: nobody's went to jail for that shit. Nobody. And for Ben to oh god. And this is somebody who says facts don't care about your feelings, but he's on a hissy fit about following law. I thought y'all were the law and order crowd, motherfuckers. But let's continue. It's only following law when it makes them feel good.
You could try. I would have objections to you forcing me to say that I like a particular movie, right? It may not be true. I don't like a particular movie. It would be bad if you tried to force me to say that. But the level of passion that I have for issues like this one really go to the fact that I think the fundamental good of humanity relies on basic acknowledgments of biological truth, especially.
So, Ben, if you want to acknowledge biological truth, you would understand that first, sex and gender are two different things, you dumbass. But you're not dumb. You're just playing to a crowd. Like, he's Jewish, but he plays to a Christian conservative crowd that would no less want the end of the world. That, I don't know, what happens in the end of the world to the people who are in the land of Israel that are descended from, that are Jewish? I wonder what happens. But, Ben, if you're so concerned about biology, you would recognize that sex is bimodal. And gender is shit that we made up because it's easy. Yes, gender is shit that we made up that is correlative to sexual characteristics, but it's not, sexual characteristics is not causative of gender. Gender is what we say, you dumb fuck. All right, let's go.
Especially when it comes to gender. And anybody who's ever dealt with children, I find myself getting, if I look at my own political evolution, I'd say that when I grew up in a religious home, so that means that pretty
no wonder you're so fucking stupid.
Conservative. And then you go to college and you're living by yourself and you're not married, you don't have kids. You tend to become a little bit more libertarian, which is like, okay, let everybody do whatever they're going to do and it's not going to bother me. And then you have kids and you realize that there's a pool in which we are all swimming. And that pool...
Did somebody piss in your end of the water, Ben? That's why you so fucked up? Oh, God. Okay. According to the Christians, my people get rounded up, shipped to Israel, all but 144,000. Male virgins will be slaughtered at Armageddon. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what they plan for most Christians. Like, yeah, no, that's going to happen.
Is going to define
Virginia.
Exactly. Like my kid, it's going to determine how my kid lives, and I want my community to reflect some of my values because I don't want my kid to live in the toxic sludge that you are creating for my kid. I don't like indoctrinating my kids in bullshit about whether.
Yes, exactly.
So don't indoctrinate your kids in religion. I'm just saying, don't indoctrinate your kids in religion. Like, we know that donkeys don't talk, and while they don't talk, yes, women may lust after their lovers who size of that of a horse and emissions of those of a donkey, but we know donkeys and snakes don't talk. We know that I don't know that a golem spell didn't create people. I know, weird, right? Weird, but this whole shit is just like, oh, I don't want my kids believing in nonsense. But yeah, you know, this one magical being from the sky flooded the whole world with just water that just like came out of the fountains of the deep because the earth sits on pillars. Yeah, the earth sits on pillars, and it's a crystal dome because reasons.
Exactly. People will say, well, I'll exceed, but not for my children.
Yeah.
And that's what Virginia demonstrated. It's like, you can come after me, but you come after my kids, and that's a whole different story.
It's so fundamental.
I mean, Jordan, let's be honest. You want to come after your child. Jordan Peterson has a Donald Trump and Ivanka Trump fantasy like what? I'm sorry. Jordan Peterson has a Donald Trump and Ivanka Trump fantasy like what? All right, let's go.
Opposed to everything true, and the fact that and that's the insistence. The insistence isn't that people be treated humanely or be treated decently. The insistence is that your vision of yourself be reflected by me in defiance of baseline reality, and in order to redefine how society as a whole works.
Okay. So what Ben just said there was some bullshit because he would have an issue with that shit. He literally just says that my issue isn't treating people humanely. My issue is actually your self-identity is you want me to restrict your self-identity no matter how I feel about it. Ben, if you don't have a problem with people misgendering other people, let's just start calling you Abby. Let's just make you get you a breast implant. Make you cut your hair or have your hair grow out long and start calling you Abby. You can be Abby's sister. And we force you to do that. And every time you say, no, my name is Ben, people laugh at you and say that you're Abby. See, this is the shit that I don't get about a lot of these motherfuckers. They will be so concerned with somebody else's gender identity, but you start misgendering them and they have an issue. We've seen it with big creators, even small creators. Because remember, to me, Gothics isn't a woman. Gothics is an it. So it should not have any problems with me addressing it as an it, because it doesn't have a problem with gender issues, because as long as it, gets to call other people out of their gender, it gets to be called out of its gender all the time. See, this is the shit that really pisses me off, because it's one rule for thee, but not for fucking me. But let's go.
It's murky thinking. If someone asked me, do I believe that there are gender fluid people? I would say yes.
So what's the problem? You've just identified MB people. Now, granted, there are a ton of MB people, and it was MB people before people knew, like, just because you're non-binary doesn't mean you're some just drab, like, Heaven's Gate cult person. It can just be androgynous. You know what I'm talking about, like the rockers in the 80s and shit like that. Yes, I fucked up the word. Excuse me. But it's just like, I don't get these people, because they want to simultaneously kick down on people, but then they want to act like they're the fucking victim. Noble conservatives think that people who recognize trans people are coming after their kids, and that the leftists want to turn their children gay or transgender. Okay. Here's a hot tip. Here's here's like, it's just like hot take number one. All right, check it out. Take the earphones out for this one. If somebody convinces you to be gay or bi, you're not straight. Nobody can convince you to do the shit that you don't want to do. If you're assaulted, if you're forced to do something, that's a different thing. But if somebody says, hey, why don't you suck a penis? And your response is like, I really don't want to, but you're not straight, dog, and that's fine. If somebody convinces you, say, hey, you know what? Why don't you, as you call yourself a man, go wear a dress. And you say, I don't really want to. But you put on a dress? Dude, you may be gender fluid. It's okay. Nobody, look. I say it. And this is like not me like bragging or some shit. I'm straight. I like vagina. I really like the taste of vagina. Like if it's a good smelling vagina, it just makes my mouth. Either here nor there. Nobody can convince me that I like penis. And this is not on people who like penis. It's just that nobody's going to convince me of that because I don't. It's not appealing to me. I'm straight, dog. I don't need to. You have your fun. And even away from that bullshit, like, oh, I don't see it. Like, no, you can have your fun. I'm not going to knock you for it. And look. I'm going to be honest with you. Kids aren't that stupid either. At the worst you can actually say is that when you say, hey, gay people exist, trans people exist, the worst you can say is it's convincing them that they can be themselves. I don't get it. The fact is, if my daughter came to me right now and says, hey, Dad, I like a girl, I'm like, yeah, and so what? I don't care. I don't care. The only reason, if I would care if my daughter liked women, is if she trying to steal my woman. Then me and her gonna have to fight. Oh God. Oh, the woman of my life in my blood. Amount of brainwashing. If you like both, then you have the best of both worlds. Then I hope you choose well, because people are fucking crazy. Like, I'm not even gonna lie and say, oh man, they're crazy, women are crazy. No, people are fucking crazy. And I would hope, and maybe this is me projecting my sapiosexual thing, is like, you can tolerate that person, but like, no, like, I don't care what nasty, naughty bitch you want to touch. Don't care. That's why I don't even like using straight gay about, like, dude, you just your personality does not dictate who you want to fuck. It's just like you. Don't care. It is something that, like if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. I enjoy my shit. I'm not gonna tell somebody. I will. Look. I recognize that this is gonna come off sounding really fucked up. I recognize that women go through shit, and there is some shit that they go through that I just, even like outside of the biological shit, I mean socialized shit. I will never want to actually go with that. I will never feel that my identity is compromised where I was like, oh no, I just I don't want to go through it because I don't want to deal with the shit, and because it's just like, no. As a matter of fact, most of the time, like with every person, we live life in a not like me living life. Even though I work in a call center, and even though I deal with shit, my voice determines how. I don't go around like, yeah, this is Crimson on the phone and I'm a man. Like, no, most people live their lives as if their gender doesn't matter at first. I just don't get it. Why does it bother you? And I know why it bothers. It's three reasons why it bothers you. One, they think that the people's only responsibility is to make more babies. Two, it's the fact that I'm confused and I don't know if I need to be turned on by you or not. And three, but What about the shit that I'm closeted about? How do you get to live your life? And I'm not talking about like you being gay or some shit like that. No, a lot of these people that hate people that express their sexuality, that express their gender identity, they have something in their life that they are hateful of, and they feel is not normal, and they feel like they cannot deal with. For example, there was a Republican House of representative that was just so transphobic, so homophobic. You find out that he was into like abusive ass kink shit. That he literally tied up his mistress in his basement for about three to 5 days or something like that. And it's just like, dude, you worried about somebody else, what they doing, and you are literally blackmailing these people. You've literally Okay, let's get back to the video. Rant over. All right.
I would say a young man who's gender fluid, I know what he's like temperamentally. He's high in agreeableness. He's high in neuroticism. So he has a feminine temperament. He's more interested in people than things.
What the fuck is a feminine? Oh my god. What the fuck is a feminine temperament? I'm so confused. And he's like, wait. Let's go back by his list. Let's go.
A young man who's gender fluid, I know what he's like temperamentally. He's high in agreeableness.
Jordan, no, dog. You can't do this. You can't say this. Because, dude, what is that supposed to mean that it's temperamental? You said young man, and the way we socialize young man is to make them believe that there's two emotions they can have. Horny and angry. So what the fuck does that have to do with anything about his gender identity, dog? Really? And high in agreeableness? That, like, does he not realize that in, like, most of the males or, like, the masculines of all animals in the wild, even our closest cousins, bonobos and other simian primates that we are closely related to, the most agreeable male is usually the leader because he gets shit done. Being staunchly disagreeable, being staunchly an asshole, gets you nowhere. All right, let's go.
He's high in neuroticism, so he has a
Wait, because he's gender fluid, he's high in eroticism? How does that correlate, dog? Not even cause. How does that correlate?
feminine temperament. He's more interested in people than things.
So you women, you're more interested in people than things because reasons. That having two X chromosomes means you're more interested in people than things because because reasons. Okay. No, there are no temperamental men. Just like there's no war inside of Ba Sing Se. Temperamental man, like you're saying temperamental man, like a man that would cry at the drop of a hat because it's just a culture war and they banned me off for Twitter. No, there are no such thing as temperamental man. No such thing.
And he's extremely high in openness. And so his temperament is fluid. He's creative, and so he's one thing one day and one thing the next.
So he's just intelligent. You mad because he's intelligent? I'm sorry. I have so many questions. How did this motherfucker get his license? Okay.
And his fundamental temperament is tilted towards the feminine, but that doesn't mean he's not a man.
Right, exactly.
So so it's murky thinking. So
I'm so confused. Wait, how is his thinking tilted towards the feminine, but he's still not? So Jordan, okay, cool. We gonna say that he's still a man. What makes him a man? Is it how he identifies? Is that it? Is it how he identifies? Because if it's how he identifies, then your argument for trans people is so fucked up because you have to realize it's how that person identifies. All right. Okay. I'm a temperamental man, I guess.
That's exactly right.
It's certainly the case that one.
And like, he didn't say shit. He started at one premise and led right back to the premise. He didn't say shit. He just did word salad. Would you like some fucking croutons? All right.
Out of 10 women, now it depends on where you put the cutoff point, say, but you could say with reasonable certainty that 1 in 10 women has a.
What's a reasonable start? You want to go scientific with your definition, then you say reasonable. What measure is reasonable? I'm so confused.
Masculine temperament, and 1 in 10 men has a feminine temperament. And so that's a lot of people. And those people, especially if they're also creative, well, they're kind of at a loss in relationship to what to do with their identity.
I'm creative. That doesn't mean anything about your identity. I don't. Oh my God. Fucking make a point. Stop just trying to fill with fucking words, you dumb fuck. All right, let's go.
Because they're pulled, first of all, they have a hard time catalyzing their identity.
And see, Jordan Peterson, the consummate communicator. This motherfucker knows how to be clear what you're saying and always say what you clearly mean. Yeah. I wonder if there was a book about being clear about yourself. At least that has one of them as a rule.
Creative people have a hard time catalyzing it. It's like the definition of creativity.
And see, what did I tell you? What did I tell you? That space between an asshole and a dick. A table. All right, hey.
They're protean. And so there have been people who play at the edges of gender identity forever. And fair enough. And sometimes that's even admirable if it's done in a sophisticated way.
What do you mean sophisticated? You mean a way that doesn't make you feel weird. You mean a way that doesn't make your pee-pee feel different. Like, oh, mommy, I see somebody, but I don't know what they have between their legs, but my pee-pee, my pants fit funny. My pants fit funny.
And it's charismatic. So you see it in Mick Jagger, you see it in David Bowie. You
You recognize that these people are androgynous. You recognize that shit. Now, their androgyny is different from what other people may be androgynous to be like. Why is it a problem? Is it just because of what you accept? It's because of what you accept. That's all it is. It's because of what you accept. It is because of what you accept. Then their identity can be fluid as shit. We can talk about Prince, who quite literally was probably one of the most straightest men on earth, but literally had ashless chaps. You just have a problem with people who you think are women, or you think look like women, but they don't have all the biological parts that you want to sleep with, and you confuse, and your pants feel funny. Jordan, and like this is what I think the biggest problem with a lot of these transphobes are. They think they're entitled to everybody they find attractive, should want to sleep with them, and they should want to sleep with them. And I think that's the biggest problem. And they find it weird that somebody that has a penis can present as a woman, and they just take it as, oh my God, but he looks like a she, and she looks good, and it's turning me on, and my pants fit funny. That's what I think the biggest problem with a lot of these transphobes. Let's look at the chat. He should have stayed in the comments so he would be more coherent. I can handle only so much of Peterson or Ben of the cake. Oh God. Oh, this woman is like a man, kind of like a lobster. Oh shit. I saw Prince in the Revolution live in Chicago with Frankie Knuckles and had them in the warehouse. Memories of Frankie. Man, but this is my problem with these fuckers. We're gonna do a little bit more. I'm getting tired of them. Let's go.
See it, and you see it in people like Madonna as well, because Madonna had a hard edge, that was very masculine, and all of them are.
Wait, when was Madonna ever masculine? I'm sorry, when was Madonna ever masculine? I don't get that one. She has always been somebody who has been very feminine. Very feminine. The worst you can say that Madonna was aggressive and expressive. That has nothing to do with masculinity or femininity. That has more to do with somebody's personality. If you're that stupid to think that somebody's being aggressive they're just acting like a man, you are a fucking coward. And you only enjoy weak women because you're weak and small and insignificant. And the only people that you need to be around you is fucking yes men and clapping fucking seals. If you think that the only type of woman who is feminine is a weak woman, then you are fucking stupid. Oh God, that just broke my brain. Wow. Madonna. I can understand how, there's some, female performers that are, cis, they're non-binary. But Madonna has always been feminine. This motherfucker should have stayed in the coma. I'm sorry. This motherfucker should have stayed in the coma. And being not making no better, Mr. Certified Freak, 7 days a week. Wet ass P word, make that pull out game. My doctor wife said that if you need a bucket and a mop, then you have a problem. Ben, you stupid fuck, it's a metaphor. It's hyperbole. It's they're not literally saying that, you dumb fuck. And I understand that you never made a woman come because your doctor wife has told you that it's okay that women don't come. But no, this is the shit that I'm talking about. Why do they have followers? I don't get it. Look. I get why I don't have followers, because you guys are my followers. You watch my video. It's just you guys see why I don't have a lot of followers. I mean, I know, because I say shit, I accuse people of just really bad faith, because that shit is just really bad faith. But it's just who listens to these motherfuckers? Okay, all right. We're gonna do the whole YouTube shit, share, subscribe, because we're cutting this video segment up. Take a look at the sponsor in that corner and all the other good shit. And we're gonna cut this segment here.
If I gave myself the power, where would I be? Was I